to
what you're
child.
navigating.
Right. Yes. No, seriously.
Yeah. What are you navigating today?
Here go that.
That.
I am navigating how to be a serious professional. No, but in all seriousness, that is true. Prior to us getting on the call, I had some discrepancies with my job and some clientele and figuring out some court things and like how to identify the distinction between, is this court ordered and mandated? Am I being subpoenaed, or is this, some really zealous attorney trying to push me towards something? And so I got a little nervous because, you still be feeling like, am I a 13-year-old doing this? Like, no, you're a real life person with people's lives in their hands. So you need to snap out of it. So that's been a doozy. And I think that'll always be a doozy until I'm 100. But another thing, another part to that I'm learning from this little debacle that I'm in is that to trust yourself. Like, it's okay. Like, literally, as soon as I got the notification this morning that like, oh, XYZ reached out and you need to respond. And matter of fact, they didn't even say you need to respond. They said XYZ reached out requesting X. And I immediately went to nervousness, not because I'm not doing what I need to do behind the scenes or
Yeah.
that I am not competent. As a matter of fact, I always am consistently pouring in and trying to learn more and trying to expand myself so as to not ever present incompetently. But the nervousness never goes away. Some of that probably is some eldest daughter stuff in there now that I'm thinking about it out loud. But anyway, saying that to say, because it's not even about perfectionism. It's more, maybe it's a version of perfectionism, but really what it's more of is, please nobody ever see me as inadequate. Like, and that's just horrible.
Yeah.
Everybody, please see me and validate my seriousness as a XYZ fill in the blank. So anyway, saying that to say what I'm learning or what I'm gathering even from this morning, and I'm going to continue to grow in and grow on. And I've been doing it subtly, but for real, more and more after today, is trust myself. And
Yeah.
you've done the work. You're fully here. You are a licensed therapist, and there have legitimately been people and lives and family that have been positively impacted. And I'm saying this also to the ethos too. People
Mhm.
have been positively impacted by you in your workspace, wherever that is, whatever that is. And so trust yourself. Today, we're going to together in tandem learn to trust ourselves more, learn to trust our credentials more. And also your instinct and your gut, especially when you work in this sort of an arena. Girl, trust your instincts, because human behavior and human wellness and human well-being is just that. And obviously there was like academic acumen that you need to lean on and all the things, but also, girl, trust your instincts. And for what we're talking about, the situation. Girl, trust your instincts, because people's lives is on the line, period. So that's what I'm navigating.
Yeah. And if at any moment you need to brush up, you still have the resources to
Right. That's true.
reach out and did I
That's
do
true.
something wrong, or relook at a book? Like,
That's true.
yeah,
Right. It doesn't delegitimize. That's a good point
yeah.
too, right? Like, it doesn't delegitimize you if you, or I'm gonna throw another one in, because I did in a little bit make a little mistake.
You still have value after your mistake.
Huh? What you said? Thank you,
You are
because
still
I've been keeping it
valuable.
real. Yeah, no, you're still valuable. Girl, who said you wasn't gonna make mistakes? Like,
Right.
man, and that's another thing you just, oh, I don't want to make a distinction between men and women. But like, it's either women be like, oh, it's either I'm perfect or I need to quit. And it's like,
Right,
well,
right.
there is a gradient between there. I promise you that.
Solution.
Yeah. So that's how, girl, I thought last thing too, I thought once I left like corporate spaces or more organized
Mhm.
spaces,
Yeah.
that whole Slack notification, that whole Teams notification will
No.
like, you mitigate the anxiety, because I'm not in a corporate setting. I don't have to, I work on my own time. I schedule everything. Girl, every time I get a Slack notification, I still be like, unless it's a client like scheduling, because like the scheduled things are just what they are. They look standard. But anytime it's a message, I'll be like, what I do? It's Pavlovian. It's like conditioning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's girl, calm down.
No, that's real, because as much as I was bragging on being in all these black spaces and with black women, I'm still like, is my boss disappointed in me? She didn't smile. I did all this work and she didn't smile. Like, did she
Girl,
not like what I did? Like, what's happening?
we are
Yeah.
little puppies. We are little puppies with requesting approval from mommy and daddy at the workplace. down at the workhouse. Okay. Like, yeah, I don't, oh my God, just 2 seconds because it's a Black woman podcast and we have, speaking of work, this, it'll probably be an episode at some point. Shout out to the Black women, or not shout out. I don't even know how to reference this because it's kind of somber, but I just don't want to acknowledge it. A lot of Black women are out of jobs right now. Black
Mm.
women make up a big, significant portion of government and federal work, government jobs and
Wow.
federal work. They're interchangeable, but
Yeah.
and it's real bad right now, and it's only getting increasingly worse. And also, people are so stupid because they're just haphazardly passing over this fact when in actuality, when Black America is sick, it's just a matter of time before it ripples out. It's just
Mhm.
an example of when Black America has a problem. It's like an apple. Sometimes, have you ever been to an apple where the core is rotten, but you didn't know? I have.
Mm.
It's a candy, a caramel apple to be exact. But anyway, you bite into it. It's still pretty on the outside, but baby, that apple is rotten in the core, and it's only a matter of time before it
Yeah.
ripples out into the peel and all of the rest of it. And
Yeah.
so the same is true. So y'all feeling all real lackadaisical about the fact that 300 plus now Black women have lost their jobs and are unemployed. I've been on a lot of the Reddit boards and stuff just trying to like assess it and really get a full scope of what's been happening. And the girlies is saying this is the longest they've ever been out of work, for seven,
Yeah.
8 months. And like, and I've been seeing a lot of other conversations too about the qualifications and like, well, most of them were DEI jobs. And so, first of all, who did you think was going to hire Black women? Like, because they were essentially making the case that like, oh, they wouldn't get these jobs if it was the private sector. Yeah, because there was a history of racism in this country. Not, and so if the government hadn't have stepped in and intervened in many ways for Black people and Black women, yeah, we wouldn't have been able to get jobs that we are equally qualified for. But because of personal vendettas and all of the things and nepotism in private sector, anyway, that's a whole other
Yeah.
conversation. So praying for, seeing you, loving you guys. If you are somebody impacted by this current job loss and job desert by our current dictator in chief, I'm praying for you, and reach out to us and hopefully get into some good community
Mhm.
to get on some good job boards and get on some people's radar. I mean, I know that that's unhelpful necessarily, but just wants you to know that you're seen and I see. And yes, love you,
Yeah.
sisters. Sorry.
Yeah. I I do realize that like I be telling my sister like you need to quit because she has a job that is just like, but I'm also like ain't that many
Yeah.
jobs out here, so I
Yeah, not
understand
right now.
like
Not right now.
no,
Just wait
like
a
deal
little
with the
bit more.
racism a little bit more like.
It's real bad. It's real bad right now, for real. Like for real. Yeah. Right.
I was also gonna ask, you an eldest sister for real? Oh, now, girl, I was gonna say, I get why Joe Budden just passed over. I acknowledged it though. I acknowledged it though. I acknowledged it though.
I just caught what you just referenced. I was like, wait, what? I'm confused. No, we right. And also, we're not talking about death. So, like,
We're not talking about death.
yeah, no, we acknowledge you. We heard you, sis. We love y'all. Know we love y'all. Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I mean, like there have like the jokes that are like the signs of a recession. Like
Mm-hmm.
there are signs, and
Oh,
like
100%.
they get into good community is like really like I think
Yes.
necessary.
Mm-hmm.
There was this guy who I don't know what I was. Oh, there was this. Yeah, it was a dude that posted on TikTok that was like, um, y'all need to. He's basically flipping the idea of like you need to tighten up, so that well the flip was you need to tighten up because you need to support people, not this
Mm.
because a lot of times he's like I gotta lock in because ain't nobody got my back. No, you need to lock in because somebody might need you.
Right. My need. Yes.
And there
Mm-hmm.
was a comment that was like, it was such a blessing that I was able to gift my friend 6 months worth of rent when he lost his job. Like, and it's like stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
you need
Yeah.
to lock in because
Lock in. Yeah.
it's hard to there might be somebody that needs to depend on you.
Yep.
And if you can't help them, it's like, dang, I don't got nothing. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, for the people who do have means, it might be and that might be the call, start locking in so that we
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
and be in
Yeah.
community with people while people who are struggling and like you said, it's gonna get worse. Like
Yep.
let's
Yep.
figure out yeah, like how to be community for real. Like and I
Yeah.
think it's so crazy,
Absolutely.
like how like the conversations around community it just might be my algorithm, but like the conversations of community are changing. Because I follow this idea, and it might have started. It's one person said it. I don't remember who said it, but now it's like all over the internet. Like community, the cost of community is inconvenience. The cost of community
100%.
is inconvenience.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the shift from cutoff culture, the shift from like,
Yes.
you can't do it alone. I mean, you can just cut people off, but like, no, we can't do that. Like, we have to be inconvenienced. We have to
100%.
communicate with people. It's going to be uncomfortable, all that. And these are the times where it might get really uncomfortable for us if we do not, if A, we try to do it alone, and then B, if we're not in community with people who got your
Yeah.
back. So I
100%.
will, I back that, on that,
Yeah.
being community
Just
part.
let me just say one thing to that because I think that was so important. Like, yeah, we can't. So that means community can't be this cliche little thing. And y'all hear us talk about it all the time. So this ain't nothing new. This cliche thing that we just say in cute conversations around mental health and wellness, it has to legitimately become like a philosophy and a politic and a personal way of life. Now, and what that looks like when people hear that, I know that people immediately hear, but I know Black people's especially inclination towards anti-community and being like, well, forget it then. F y'all, I'm going to do my own thing,
Mhm.
solo bolo, all of the terms that we've come up with in this cutoff culture time and how we navigated it. A lot of that comes from obviously our past with traumas and lack and it disproportionately negative things disproportionately impacting us. So I only mention that to say, don't hear us calling for community and calling for the realization that community sometimes mean inconvenience. Don't hear that as, so yeah, now sacrifice all of your comfort and sacrifice all of your boundaries. Hear that as your personal call to cultivate community and also figure out what it looks like to do it healthily.
Right.
Maybe in the past, we've seen people do community in ways that were self-sacrificing to the point where they lost their lives. I have literal aunts and uncles where I've like, aunts. Okay. I can never stop. I can never, because it's true. Okay. Anyway.
Cause
So
are the men dying? No, not
because
not
they,
not for sacrifice, they
not
not.
for, surely not from sacrifice for the other. This is, remember how you was like, I think it's becoming a Black podcast. It's not.
There's
Like,
still boundaries, like,
to our
still
core,
distinctions.
to our
Yeah.
core, we need to do one. Like, this is for Black part, but we need Black woman part. So we need to find a way. You got to watch the visual if you just wanted to see what I did. But anyway, but yeah, you've probably seen in the past. Maybe you seen men, maybe you seen women. For me, I seen women sacrifice. I've seen women sacrifice to the point of loss of life and loss of full health. And guess what? Will they say that they'll take back their help for their family? No, but will they, if we can go into the heavens and the heavenlies and talk to them? No, they probably wouldn't say that, but they'll probably definitely make a strong case for figuring out how to do it in a healthy way that prioritizes them as well as the other. And so let's evolve our thought about, like you said, the cutoff culture, but in also doing that, we can also evolve our thoughts around what it looks like to be there healthily for somebody where, we can rise along with the person rather than sink so that the person could rise. That's not good either. So just don't
Yeah.
want you to misconstrue what we're saying.
Mhm. I this weekend, this is not what I was gonna talk about with my navigating, but I was
Oh, sorry.
no, 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 no. It just made me think about community. I've been thinking a lot about community because
Yeah,
I've
no.
been I made a couple meals for Desmond's cousin who just had a baby. And I went over there yesterday and they chilling. Like, and I'm like, her postpartum looks from my perspective. I only seen her
Yeah.
once. Literally, that was the first time I seen her in the 2.5 weeks since she had the baby. But like, I know that they're tired and stuff like that. But like, um, her boyfriend was able to have paternity leave. Desmond was
Oh,
not able to
good.
have paternity leave, and
Mm.
I had the thought like, did I have a bad postpartum experience because of my circumstances? And probably, but I've been cooking meals for them, just because I wish I had that. Um,
Hmm.
and they didn't ask. And I'm like, I think in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Why are you doing this? They didn't ask for this. They seem fine. Like, they seem like they can get up and do what they need to do." Like, And I'm like, but should they have to ask? Like,
Mm-mm.
and you know, regardless of like, regardless, like I had to remind myself, regardless of the fact that she looks like she's able to get up and move, and regardless of the fact that they look like they are able to maintain right now, you know that her body is still healing. You know that
Exactly.
them as a family, they need to be bonding. Like, even though she might not look as stressed out as you, why do I need to add more stress? Like, or why
Precisely.
can I help relieve stress? So I just had
Precisely.
all these thoughts of like community and like, am I overextending myself and all this? And I'm like just thinking about community and all the things. But that made
Mhm.
me I have literally been thinking about all the stuff of like sacrificing black women, blah blah blah, la la la. Like, she looks like she's fine. Why are you doing this? Like, and I'm like, in the grander scheme of things, greater scheme of things, I'm like, she like, because I'm like, what if you have a baby, another baby, and like she doesn't return that? And I'm like, I don't think that's how I want community to show up for me.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
on a you did this, so I did this. I'm sowing. I believe I'm like sowing into just fertile ground, I guess, or just like into the universe or the
Yep.
world. And like,
Yeah.
somebody will. I'll be blessed in this, in whatever need I have whenever my needs come around.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, I
Yeah.
think
And also, we don't want to forsake the spiritual aspects of what it is to show up for a postpartum mom or postpartum family. It ain't got nothing to do if she gonna return it. It's not even that wouldn't be nice. We don't have to lie and say like we don't want
right,
that from people. And sometimes people don't show up and return it. But what I'm saying is the more we just make it I do this because what is a postpartum mom and that's beautiful, the more that becomes just a cemented rule.
right,
I think so much of especially Black community, because of all the harms that's been done to us, our spirits have literally been broken. And so it makes this crabs in a bucket mentality, this, the same old things we always have always heard. It just makes us broken and jaded and questioning everything and sad, or not sad, but even the things that we enjoy sometimes, they're rooted in a lot of degradation. This can get too dark, but my point is, and so much of that is because so much of our self-perception and self-identity has literally been broken from oppression and forces larger than ourselves. And so it's harder to think for the other when you're in this space of self-preservation and just trying to
Mhm.
survive and all of that. And so, yeah, no, the more those who are in a good position, and actually these are the moments where we can't feel comfortable about the fact that, like you said, I saw your story about had baby girl and you was working, and it's like, you're in a good position. You've worked hard to be in a good position. And so then the more we do enjoy that comfort and have a little bit of extra privilege maybe than our counterparts, then you do get to say, no, I just do it because that should be the standard. And I have a little glimmer of joy and goodness and feelings. And so how can I extend that without any expectation of reciprocity? Would it be nice? Yes. But is my ultimate goal to spiritually invoke something good and lasting and sustaining in a culture that has been broken so much? Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, I think I love that. Good for y'all, and congratulations to baby girl. Will she have a girl?
A
Well,
little
actually,
girl. She had a little girl. And
nice.
I did get to see her yesterday. "Oh, she's a little." I said, "Let me go if I wanna have a baby." I said, Bye. It's not in the plan right now."
Baby, 'cause
Uh,
here, no,
yeah.
just one more. Okay, no. Yeah.
Child, the way I got a plan for the second one, like, no, it's really gotta be planned. Like,
No, I'm
money
already
has to
listen.
be made. Like, oh my lord. Uh, yeah, anywho. Before I get to my navigating, you are an eldest daughter for real? Like, I thought you had an older sister.
No, I do. I have 2 older sisters. But so the way it works is they the way it works, but I'm in my home, I am. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so and that really did just create a different dynamic.
Yeah.
Like in my home, because like even my sisters love them down. They would only come over like every now and then. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I really was the eldest daughter in my home. And also there was such a weird dynamic too with how they were treated by my daddy versus because they had different moms, and that was a whole other conversation. So yeah, so it's, trust me, I don't want the moniker, but the more I explore how I show up in the world and how I engage, I'm like, it gives eldest
Yeah.
daughters effect. And also when I read the book, literally the eldest daughter effect, which eldest daughters, do yourself a favor. and read that book. I'm not playing even girls who don't read, like, who be like, "Oh, I don't read like that." I gave it to them and they be like, or some who don't, and they've told me about it when I told them about it, and they was like, "Girl, yeah, I read that. I got that as a gift, and it changed my life." So anyway, the eldest daughter effect. But yeah, she talked about how all of the different variations of how eldest daughter can show up, and my situation also popped up, which is technically not a part, separate homes, whatever. So
Yeah.
yes,
Because I've been on sibling, I don't know how I got on birth order
birth order.
TikTok.
Hmm.
And, it talked about how, like, it could start over. And
Oh
I've been
yeah, oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm like, "Oh,
Hmm.
okay." But I've been thinking about, like, when I'm gonna have another baby, and I'm like, do I want 2 only children, or do I
Ooh.
want an oldest daughter? Like, I've been thinking about all the dynamics, like
That's actually fire. Siblings are fun though, no?
yeah, like, they are, and I think
But I
but
mean
the
like
idea of,
but I
like
mean like close.
yeah, you
I'm
have to
just
make
playing.
them close together, but the
Yeah.
idea of, like, 2 only children kinda scares me, and I think
Yeah.
we on the road of 2 only children.
Oh,
So,
no.
we might need to hurry up, but 'cause she looks like even now playing by herself, I'm like, "Oh, poor baby."
Same old. Take an imaginary friend to a whole new level. She got she got a room full of people.
She play a little bit too independently. I almost feel bad
You
about getting rid of the dog, like, and I'm like, "The dog gotta go," but she be playing with the dog, and I'm like she be trying to get the dog to chase her, and the dog will not chase her, and I'm like so I just chase her.
so I step in. That's where I come in. Oh, you walk around, and then first of all, I love that y'all got a house too, so now I can imagine it's like echoing. So you just say, "Who you
Too
talking
quiet
to,
in
fool?
here. Oh
Who
my
you
god. Next year, we might be
And
pregnant.
daughters too, daughters in general, which again, this may not be good or bad, but it is an objective observation. We just are real self-sufficient. Girls are just so like, don't let her master aloneness too well.
Right? Like, oh, wow. I see it. I see it. She played for a good 15 to 20 minutes with this, like, accessory thing she has, like, for her nails and hair and stuff. She just kept,
Mhm.
like, playing with it, putting the stuff in, taking the stuff out, putting the stuff in, taking the stuff out, and I was just watching her, and I was like, "She needs a friend." She needs a she needs a friend.
I mean, she gonna make a phenomenal adult. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not playing. Only daughters. Ugh. Them be your doc. Like, I'm not trying to be funny. Only daughters.
I
But yeah,
mean,
that beginning time.
I don't want
That
her
beginning time,
lonely.
child.
Oh my god, I don't want her lonely. But I don't wanna be broke with another child.
Listen, yeah, because as much as we can, y'all, I want y'all to hear me clear. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't believe in telling women what they should or shouldn't do with no kids, child. This is a key. This is a cute little boppity key. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to. That girl don't know. She don't got a concept of siblings. That's
Right?
your concept. She don't know. She don't
Don't
know.
know nothing.
Don't
She gonna
project
get
that
over
onto her.
for real, she gonna get over it and be like, "I had a perfect childhood, like, I didn't actually wanna share."
Literally, literally, literally. And they be bosses.
Ooh. Come on, little baby. Mhm.
So
I gotta send you this video. You know Desmond got DJ equipment, right? The
oh yes.
girl was in there scratching. I was
Fire.
like
That's fire.
Desmond
You gotta
called me, and I thought she's fail or something. I walk around, she is standing in the chair like this.
that's fire.
I was like,
That's what I'm
"I knew
saying.
you had it in you."
That's what who's to say? Like, and yeah, because they have to learn to self-soothe and not self-soothe in a sad way, but I just mean like
Yeah,
figure, they have to learn the world independently, not necessarily watching anybody, which is also too why eldest daughters do be such just giving us some grace because everybody be mad at how much they are bossy and all the things. But there wasn't a, oh, I'm going to duplicate X. There was
mhm,
just it's gonna be me and I'm gonna navigate through these waters
mm,
alone
yeah.
until little Rere come in. Okay, what? So
Yeah.
yeah. What are you navigating? Sorry.
What am I navigating? What I was actually gonna talk about navigating was that I'm navigating truly being a homeowner, and that nothing bad's happened. It's just I
Mhm.
realized that my, conversation has changed a little bit, like, and my I'm just navigating a lot of stuff, like, but really I was like, "Wow, you're like a homeowner," like,
Love
and I
that.
was thinking about when you was like, "It's a big deal," and I was like, "Wow, it really is a big deal that you own a house," like, and now, like, and I'm a nosy neighbor, so, like, I'm, like, looking at everybody move in, and I'm just like, "How are these people connected?" But anyway, but I'm a homeowner, and the things I be thinking about with, like, fixing the house and renovate and all that stuff is just, like, always on my mind,
That's so fire.
and yeah, it is a big deal to be a homeowner.
Your
So
TikTok about your home gym, I literally watched it 5 times. Like, if TikTok could show you how that would be embarrassing because your dad loves it. Because I just was like, all of the talk like, yeah, and apparently this used to be great, so we're figuring out how to blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, imagine having weights in your house that's yours in your house. Like, imagine walking up steps that are yours. Like,
get to dance, nobody's watching me, like,
that's what I'm saying. You not oh, you too loud. You gonna step on the neighbors. Yeah, again, because you're doing it, the weight of it just probably will never register fully, I guess, or whatever. Maybe, well, I don't know. But I'm just saying, every time you say anything remotely close to it, that's why I know it be seeming like I be gassing because we're on the pod. I'm not kidding. Every single time you say anything remotely close to it, I feel the weight of it. It's such a big deal. And then to be in it with your, whew, because really think about it. When we was kids, like that's what the adults do. So to think that you're
right,
doing what the adults do, especially in that grandiose of a capacity,
right. It's hard for me to even say my house, like, and I think the gym part even is a piece of it too, because I'm just like the posting that video, I'm like, my non-aesthetic home gym. No, this is my house. Like, I own this, like, regardless of how pretty it is. Like, let's give a realistic understanding of like homeownership and that everything is not pretty and everybody don't get a brand new house and everybody doesn't like host the journey of like making the renovating the house in the first week we buy it, you know? Like, I don't know what it is, but it's just like, no, this is mine. And like, it's my space. And I'm actually proud of my little, m- I'm proud of my house and that it's not, it don't have to be aesthetic. Like,
no, it's
it's
owned.
mine.
People's apartments that be aesthetic are renovated by a company that they pay $3,000 a month to. No shade, that's me. I mean, I don't pay $3,000, but I'm just saying, like, so who can like, nah, nah. There are no tax write-offs coming for that. There are no, at the end of the year when they say $60,000 to whatever, that's what it is. And and then next year you're gonna do it again. Like, so
Yeah.
yeah. And
But
also you did it in another state too, sorry, that you grew up in. Like that's
yeah.
you bought a house in a state that you didn't grow up in. Girl, you
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah. And I also think about like like the sacrifice to get here. It was not without a lot of tears
yep,
and like being
yep,
uncomfortable and like literally living with people like I'm 30, I was 30 something, 27 something year old, 30 up for 4 years living with people and I've already lived independently, right?
yep.
And like wanting to be an independent adult again, like out of someone's house in my own space. And just thinking about like that sacrifice and how wow, me and Desmond made it. Like we didn't break up. We almost broke up a few times. But we didn't. We made it through like and we got to the goal. And
Yeah.
I kind of was just processing that this weekend. Like we did it. Like
Mhm.
through all the sacrifice. So that's what I'm navigating.
No, that's fire. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Congrats.
Thanks. All right. You want to get to the meat and potatoes of the
Mm.
navigating? On the What's on the Agenda podcast, we navigate all the things and we navigate the nuances of things that impact Black women in their social, political, physical, emotional. I said this wrong. That
Politically.
impact Black women emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, and all the illies. And today on the agenda, we are talking about relationships because last week when we mentioned, what is something that will surprise you about, surprise the audience about you? I mentioned that I was in a relationship, I had been engaged before. So I was like, "Oh, we're gonna talk about relationships." And Raven
Mhm.
talked about liking old men. So, oh my God, this is what I'm gonna tell you. When we do talk about Hurricane Katrina,
Yes.
I like Southern men, big men, with that look like they got a little bit of Indian in them. I probably just described my family
Mhm.
because Lieutenant
Mhm. Mhm. I just
the ones down in Alabama that like
Mhm.
kinda look like cornbread off centers, yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
my they look like they probably would be perfect in overalls. My my Lieutenant General Honore,
Ooh.
in all the Hurricane Katrina documentaries.
Wait, did you okay, because I said that to somebody or two couple days ago. I literally said that to somebody.
I was like,
That man, especially back when he was
he said, "Put the goddamn guns down." I said,
that
"That's not a
man
man in uniform, okay?" Said
with that accent.
he said, "I know the weight of the poor. They wait. That's the weighting of the poor." I said,
Huh?
"He's smart."
With
Mhm.
that little accent.
That look, that's the skin of like my grandma had this skin. It was like clear. It's like,
Mhm.
is it? Is it?
Yeah, cause he
Is it
definitely
white?
look a little like, well, yeah,
Uh,
he
that's a
definitely a
Negro.
little miss. He definitely and mixed with not just 2. It's a 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5 up in there. It's a, my daddy Alabama, mama love you mix that Negro with that Creole.
But not because he light skinned, y'all.
Exactly. Yeah,
Probably
no, 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 no. No.
because you know we've been talking about this. The most rebellious black people be the light skins. It's
That's true.
because it's really probably because he remind me of my people, and I'm like,
That's
them
fair.
people be beautiful. They be
Yeah.
beautiful. But big old country men that look like they got a little Indian in them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that was that
Yeah.
if there was a strong arm man, I
Mhm.
take that one. I
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
just like, that's a fine man. I'm sorry. Like I
Yes,
said, I
he's
see
beautiful.
it. I see it, Raven. I see it.
Yeah, thank you. Here it goes. Thank you.
I see it. That's no. I see it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're talking about relationships
We're
today.
talking about relationships, and let's talk about what we're not gonna talk about with relationships.
Yes, that's a good way to start.
This will not be advice. Go.
Mm-mm. Okay. No, precisely. Here you go. Period. This will not be advice. Hear me clearly. Mm. This will not be advice. We are not in the position to offer you advice about relationships. Now, not because we don't have acumen enough with regard to our own personal relationships or even professionally, because both of us work in spaces where relationships are somewhat, in part anyway, at times the center of what brought us to our work, what brought us to how we're helping the people that we help or helping the programs that we help to like relationships play a major part in that. So, and even with all of that knowledge and that truth, we are not nobody to be giving nobody advice
Mm-mm.
because there are so many sociological, economical, sociological would include colorism, so I'll just leave that in there. And just cultural dynamics and factors that make relationships and dating so frayed and such a nuanced, subjective topic and subject matter that it would just be irresponsible for us to come on here and say, here's what you should do. Let me
Yeah.
tell you what you're not doing enough of. Nonsense. Well, we are though. Actually, you can go ahead. I don't want to take over.
Um. No, the only thing else I was gonna add was that beyond this not being advice, it's like you were saying, like this is not gonna be a and self-help of like how you become better to
Yeah.
attract a partner. There's enough of that out there that I don't believe in and I don't agree with personally. So that's not what this is. That is not yeah, because of what Raven said about us
Yeah.
social things that are
Mhm.
attached to specifically Black women. All the things that we've talked about on this podcast also affect how we navigate dating. Beauty policy,
Absolutely.
colorism,
Absolutely.
texturism, how your hair looks, how fat you are, how skinny you are, how your body is shaped, how what degree you got. All of that affects how you date, and it's hard. Um, yes, and like you said, it would
Yeah.
be irresponsible
Yeah.
to put that out there.
E so all the necessary caveats, I'm glad you started with that. One last one too. I do personally believe that it is helpful and useful for us to get to understand the opposite sex, especially in the context of if you date heterosexually or if not, right? So like whatever persuasion or orientation that you subscribe to, learning about that specific potential partners and what dating dynamics could potentially look like in those specific arenas, whatever persuasion or orientation you subscribe to or identify under, then I think that's a good thing. And so saying that to say I'm not necessarily discrediting completely dating coaches because I know that this is a culture right now and people do this professionally. I'm not fully discrediting, or not that my validation of them matters or one way or the other, but I'm not going to say that I think it's all nonsense. But I will say, because I really don't, but because I think some of them, especially when they're like educated in like sociology or things around gender and like the human experience, I think there is something to be said about literally objectively learning about other humans and how
Mhm.
we mate and how we come together and how we interact with each other and all of the things. And I think that's a prudent, worthwhile thing to pursue, especially when you're talking about trying to find a partner to do the hardest thing in life is, which is life and living,
Right.
and adulting. I think there's merit to that. And I think it's a necessary field of study. Um, I just the way that it's manifested, and we don't even got to go into it. We know the way that all this dating coach and femininity coaches have manifested, especially if we're not going to address all the ills that Morgan mentioned, which is the colorism, the sexism, the all of the things that really deeply negatively impact our dating pool. If we're not going to address those first, I don't really want to hear about you telling me I'm not soft enough or
Right.
I'm not or I don't have enough blah blah blah. Oh, shoot, and also if I made my skin just 2 shades lighter, that would also impact it too. So,
Right.
and if you don't if your dating coach ain't willing to say that, then I'm not willing to hear your dating coach. Okay.
Right. Um, I was also, but I agree with the understanding if you date whatever you date, whoever you date,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, not whatever you date, whoever you date, understanding how they show up in this world, because that also, like you
Yep.
said, will impact how dating maneuvers. And off script, pre podcasting, in our pre show, we talking about we are not advocates for heterosexual relationships necessarily. Like, you have to know what you're getting yourself into with me. Let me stop if I get in trouble with my relationship.
No, no,
Like,
absolutely no. You're right. Let's just pivot. Both of us.
let me not do this. Um, uh, just be what is it called? Informed decision
Yes.
making. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
dang. So we talking about what we not gonna talk about. What are we gonna talk
Right, here
about?
I go.
Uh,
Okay. Dating 101.
how do
No,
we
I
go
think a
there?
good no, seriously. I think maybe a good space is an introduction a little bit, or maybe not introduction, 'cause yeah, I think that'll be prudent. A brief synopsis of what we've gone through that have led us to our specific politic on men and dating. Does that, because I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that'll also get
yeah,
us
yeah.
into other spaces.
Yeah, well, actually, I can actually, yeah, I got that. Okay. Let me
Okay.
go first.
Yes.
Okay. So I remember at one point in life, context, I grew up in church. I didn't grow up in church. I grew up in church from 16 on, had a mentality of I was going to wait to have sex till marriage. Deconstructed that. But before I deconstructed that, I had the mentality of I want a fit, fine man of God. Well, actually, that was after that was
Don't
after,
you used to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
that was after I dated a few, I only dated, I think, men kind of in the church and a
Okay.
couple not. So my dating started in college. And because I was a virgin, that also kind of put a target on my back of like people who were like, I can make her have sex. Like, and it's like, bro, what? So like that was a thing. And then also realizing with the men in the church that they were more sexually aggressive. And that's when I started to really realize like how sex and conversations around sex are not the same with men in the church and women in the church. But I still was stuck on wanting to have a man of God. And then I quote unquote got that. We got engaged after being together for 8 months, broke up a month after that. And then in hindsight, I realized like, oh, I think I was semi preyed upon. He did go to my undergrad and then he left and then we connected over Facebook and then he was in a relationship, but then he kind of, I don't want to say used me, but like really pressured me to be in a relationship with him. He was, but at the same time, he was still like paying his
Dang,
ex. Girl,
I
when
didn't
I
know
remember
that.
the day that we got into a relationship, he literally is on the phone, like, begging me, like, "Come on, like, let's do it. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. Let's be in a
Wow.
relationship." And he really wanted us to move in together, and in hindsight, I realized, like, that was probably because he was trying to move out of his ex-girlfriend's house. Like, he ended, and, saving rent, stuff like that. Um, so we didn't move in together at first. But eventually he convinced me like it was more economical for us to move in with each other. So we was shacking up, girl. That's when I became a half virgin.
Get that bread, get that head, then leave.
Um,
Go
so
ahead.
we ended up getting engaged. We also were in a like church that was heavily like pushing marriage. Heavily pushing like at one point the pastor I think he mentioned he had married like 10 young couples in a year, like, and my ex-fiance was like, there was 3 of my friends, well, 3 of us were, all in a relationship, and he's like, "I mean, don't you wanna get engaged first?" And I was like, "I mean, okay, like, it's not that serious, I
Not how
guess."
that works.
So, I ended up getting engaged before my friends broke up in literally the next month, and, so from there, my prayer went from fit, fine man of God to just a good person with a good heart. Like, and because I realized, like, literally the worst dating experiences I had were with men that went to church and that were at church every single day serving the Lord, um, playing literally, I dated somebody who plays for, um, high people in the church, like, he's a drummer for, like, some folks.
Heavy hitters.
Yeah, and, like, ministers, pianists, all those things, like, people who were, like, really, like, known. And, they were the worst. They were the absolute worst. So I was like, "No." So I ended up with Desmond, who does not identify as a Christian, who is honest, and that's really the main reason I'm with him is because he's honest. And too honest sometimes, but he's honest, and
Mhm.
the men that were with were not, and his character spoke to me more than his, status in the church or anything like that. So they really shifted, like, all the experiences I had with men shifted, like, um, how I show up in dating or who I chose to date. And with my relationship with Desmond, I believe the space that we've cultivated and the love that we've cultivated has allowed me to heal in some places, and be free enough to express myself and heal even more in spaces or be more free in who I am, and all that. So, yeah, I don't know what else. That's my brief synopsis of where I
No,
am.
that's fair. That's fair. But just really quick, you when you broke off the engagement with your ex, um,
Oh, I didn't break up with him. He broke up with me.
he
He
broke up
literally
with you.
looked me in the face and said, "I'm not in love with you no more," and walked out the door and went on to work. I said, "Oh, okay."
Oh, wow. Wow. Sorry, I don't mean to make in all seriousness, I don't mean to make because I think especially for where I think we can take this conversation and where it should go and how we get the most like it could be the most effective is if we be able to just be like you don't gotta go into darkness, but I just mean like I think that's important to note. You know what I mean?
No, I think it
Mhm.
also is too because, like, that also has shaped, like,
Yeah.
when you've been hurt from to the, like, core, like, it
Yeah.
also shapes how you show like, it took a very long time for me to trust that Desmond loved me and that he wasn't just
Yeah.
gonna walk away, and it took a very long
Mhm.
time to, like, heal from that, and,
Absolutely.
um, literally not feel like one day he was gonna wake up and just be like, "I'm not in love with you no more." Like,
Oof. Yeah.
And then also to show people like I have been hurt, like,
Mhm.
and like I, I think it also I want to say it also caused me to not take relationships so seriously,
Come
and I,
on, that's where I wanted you to get to. I'm glad you arrived. That's
like
all I and
the
again, you hear she's I just really quick, she's in a relationship right now.
it's
It's
not the
because
end all no more.
but look, just 2 seconds. She okay, you heard narrator? She she went through Christianity, whatever. I don't wanna make it about Christianity, but I just mean, like, I'm gonna be all the things and all the things for my man, whatever. She like every phase that people suggest women do for dating, she's gone through all of them and still didn't leave this bitter, horrible thing. Not to say you didn't go through things, but is actively in a relationship right now. And so I'm saying this to say because in a minute we are going to get to our politic about it and stuff, and it has nothing to do with bitterness. It has everything to do with you do better when you know better, so you do better. That's so I'm like, what's the phrase? But it has everything to do with that. And it's okay this ain't finna come out of hurt. We not bitter Bettys. Yeah, just wanted to
Yeah.
caveat that. Go ahead.
No, because I think also like yes, it makes me think of relationships way more objectively, and like I can
Yes,
step out of it
as
and
you
be like,
should.
it's just X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? Like even though I can be very much a
Sorry, looking
I
at
can be
you.
very feel very deeply in my relationship still, but at the
Okay.
same time I think because I have been so hurt, I'm like I ain't never gonna be that hurt that bad. Like
Mhm.
I know how to pick myself up. I know how to leave a relationship when I know it's absolutely over. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like when I
Yep.
know the signs of like, oh, I know the difference between he's trying and he's not trying. Like he's done or he's still here.
Yep.
And that waiting around to figure out if he's no, I still know when he's trying. I still know when he's putting in the effort. I still know the things. And then if he's not, I'm going to leave. And I know
100.
how to pick myself up. Yeah.
And you know what's interesting because the thing that comes to mind for me is you lose the fairy tale.
Mm-hmm.
And the fairy tale
Unfortunately.
don't just mean the like, he gonna pick me up, he gonna pick me up, he gonna be my knight in shining armor, he gonna rescue me from the dragon, and we're gonna live happily ever after. That
Mhm.
is the archetype of it. But the fairy tale also is the naivete of being in a relationship blindly.
Right.
It's not that, again, going to what I was
Yeah.
saying last week, it's not that you expect people to cheat. It's not that you sit around and wait for people to cheat or forget cheat, because I don't want to make it seem like that's the only bad thing way to
Mm.
transgress in a relationship. That's not the only way, but it is to say that you approach and you engage and you exist in relationships maturely
Right.
with
Human.
maturity. Yes, right. And I just think so much of our perspective about relationships is still so rooted in the childlike archetypes that are
Hmm.
so unhealthy. And then anytime anybody sees you or hears you deviate from the childlike archetypes, immediately it's you just been hurt. You've been scarred. Yes, because
Yes.
and guess what? Can I bring my faith into for 2 seconds? You'll never not hear me say it because I have a book coming soon that'll be about it. So, but I do believe in my politic and my personal Christian perspective that we had an origin. I believe we were designed, like literally biologically, to be with one another in a specific kind of a way, relationally, romantically. And then because of a breach of our space and our literal makeup and how we engage was penetrated by something corrupt, sinful, if you will. And so then as a result of that, now we always want to harken back to that mindless, effortless, just love conquers all space with regard to relationship and romantic connection. But that's not the way that the world works. Something penetrated our engagement. Something happened to make relationships more difficult. Maybe it ought to have been easy and like, and the
Mm.
reason I say this because, like, generally, I'm speaking in a heteronormative context here. What you generally see is the woman falls in love with the guy, and then we get head over heels, and we've all done it. It's the same reason why when you get in a relationship, you know how they'd be like, you shouldn't lose your best friend when you get in a relationship. You know how girls just get lost in themselves and like they stop talking to their friends and all this stuff. Like they be saying you shouldn't do that. You got to fight that urge. The reason why so many women have to fight that urge is because we be wanting to just, all right, it's my man and nothing else. We seeing
Right.
it right now with Mariah. Actually, I wanted to bring that in with Mariah the Scientist. I'm not in pop culture at all like that, but you can't ignore all the stuff that's happening. That girl was a pre-med. Now, don't get me wrong. I heard that Young Thug really, yeah, I know that's why they call her the scientist. I learned that over the weekend. But she was pre-med. She had her own, like, and she is doing her own thing now with regard to her music. But what I'm saying is this relationship, if she is not careful, it's already happening. But if she's not careful and if she doesn't rein this in and drop that buster, my girl
And
used
who
to
is
say
she
that.
with?
Young Thug, girl, a rapper. I don't know. But
That's a whole nother conversation of like the
I know. Sorry. And I'm wrapping it up here. My point is, a man will, okay, I said I'm gonna reel myself back in. If you're not careful, relationships can consume you, and oftentimes women are on the other, the negative end of that consumption, consume you so much that you lose yourself, and also that you become a shell of yourself, and you end up being abused because you don't even notice that it's happening because you're such a shell of yourself, your original
Right.
self. And so all we're advocating, or all I'm advocating when I talk so passionately about relationships, is that be in relationships in a mature way. That fairy tale archetype is gone. Again, I know we may want to harken back to it because of what I believe in, but it's not that love is choice. Love is
Right. Yeah.
autonomy. Love is truth. Love
Mm,
is honesty about the nature of us, the nature of your man or whomever, and the nature of you. And what does it look like to bring those two things together in harmony? Not harmony in the way that we were presented by Disney
yeah.
and all the archetypes, but harmony in a way that works for us too.
Yeah. No, that's real. I know because it like yes, because it made me give up the fairy tale of like, oh, I'm a woman of God, I'm gonna marry a man of God. I go to church every Sunday. I'm gonna marry a man and go to church every Sunday. We're gonna serve the Lord together. And
This
blah blah
mocking
blah.
voice, this
Blah.
mocking.
Like and all this like hey, I'm not gonna do that. Like I'm bro, I mock Desmond so much. He hates it so bad. Like like cause I was like, he wants the dog. And then he the dog ain't gonna poop in the cage. The
No,
dog
and
need
people real I feel disrespected by that, and I'd be like, "I'm so sorry." I do it so, like, naturally. Be ready to get punched in the face.
I felt like I was going crazy the other day because I was in here by myself like, Desmond said the dog wasn't gonna poop in the cage. I was like, I'm losing my mind. Like, I'm
No,
gonna be
I'm
okay.
so happy to hear you say that because I do it all the time, and people be like, "Raven, that's not funny," and I'd be like, "I know it's not it's extremely disrespectful, and I'm so sorry."
I didn't know you were
Especially when you're in the
seriously saying
middle of an
it like
argument.
that.
Have you been
So now yes, in the middle of an argument, like
you gotta
I
cut it
okay,
off.
you gotta
Because
stop.
the thing is, imagine if they did that to you in an argument, you about to fall off this balcony. So no, so even in I literally just did it, like you be having to like pull back, like so I'll do it, and then I'd be like, I am so sorry. That did not that was not supposed to that was not supposed to come out right now. We're in a real serious conversation.
Wow,
Anyway,
that's crazy. Yeah, that's often.
yeah, I do that a lot. I'll
We
go a
live in the
lot.
same lives. Like, oh yeah.
But yeah,
But I wanted to be with the fairy tale. I wanted the fairy tale. I wanted to not be. I didn't want to have sex before marriage. Blah blah blah. And then when you like, even you pull the shade. Like the reason that I started deconstructing my belief around sex before marriage was because I realized I was a black woman. That alone makes me realize I'm not getting the fairy tale. Like, it's not happening. So, yeah, like, l I think look, yes, love is the choice, and I think even with that, like, a lot of people be like, "Well, I just want somebody to love me for me." They are. They're choosing you every single day. They are choosing you
mhm,
every single day. Like,
that's good. That's good.
um, I don't know. I think, anyway, go. You tell your get to where you got to, how you got to where you at. You
Long
not
story
finna
short, here we go. Okay,
ah,
real quick.
same story. I dated a man in the church. More of the story is don't date the men in the church.
My introduction into reality, my my desecration of my fairy tale was I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I was a teenage bride. Okay, but no, I'm just joking. That's actually not funny. No, but
Lord have
I met
mercy.
a boy in high school who was a church boy, and You know, same old, same old. Girl, I do not know how to talk about myself. I would scream to the rooftop about everything. No, but I met a boy in high school. We dated. Um, you can't expect seriousness from boys in high school. So I have no qualms about his behaviors in high school. It is what it is. He was obviously an unserious person. He did love me really, really good as far as this was my first experience with that's another thing. When the girls be saying that they men don't give them money. Sometimes I'm not gonna hold you. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud, Raven, talk. Okay. He used to take care of me, like, he used to bring me Popeyes and, like, food to my games, he used to take me home, it was like the typical high school boyfriend energy, and this was my first time having, because I was going through so much at home because my daddy was just a horrible yes, like, having somebody step in and basically be all the things for me in a way. I was a latchkey kid, so it wasn't nobody, like, buying me homecoming dresses and stuff like that, so he that shall remain nameless stepped in and just basically stepped in and did all the things in addition to other people in my life that I kind of like adults who stepped in too. So I don't want to dismiss them, but anyway, yeah, he stepped in and just did all the things for me, and he made me feel safe in times where I just felt completely unsafe in my home environment. And he gave me an out, so like I basically, as soon as I could, start going out and not never coming back home, but staying out as long as I can and going home only to sleep. He was my ability to do that. So we used to go to all the services, and he used to take his mom's car, and we
Mhm.
just used to be everywhere all the time. Like, it was he'll appreciate me reflecting on it in this way, because in that way it did used to be like he really did save my life. Emotionally, I think, well, emotionally in that capacity. And that's even that he was a savior. Anyway, girl, what? Okay. Fast forward. Obviously in my brain, oh, we're gonna be married and we're gonna do all the things. And so graduated high school, whatever. I went away to college. Whew. And I went away to college and was like, "Oh, it's college boys. Oh, I don't have to just be tethered to that situation." And also, let's keep it real. I just gave him all these little flowers because those flowers were nice, but he was cheating on me, doing all the things, talking to other girls, doing
Yeah.
all the things. Like, he was obsessed with his ex. And so he put me through all the things. Long story short, get to college, and I was like, "Oh, I don't gotta go through all of that. I can get all the things and also just feel good too. Like, I don't like his boys that'll like me without giving me all the stress. Cool, I'll do that." But then he wasn't letting that happen because he was already sad that I went away to college. He tried to convince me not to go away to college. Red flag number 4.
Red flag.
And, yeah, and so whatever, so he took me through a whole bunch of that. Every time I would try and date somebody else, he would just basically sabotage it. I was kind of letting him sabotage it a little bit too, because I was still so brainwashed to think that this was the man who God chose me to be. I was 19, sitting
That
here
God
talking about
chose
this
you.
the
That God chose us to be together and stuff. Like, deconstruction. Please, please deconstruct it, y'all.
So back and forth, back and forth. He convinced me to go home. I only stayed at my school for 1 year because he convinced me to come home to be with him, and that's when the hell broke loose.
Woo.
And he punished me for going away,
Mm.
punished me for getting with that guy that that was basically trying to rescue me from being in such a toxic relationship, punished me. And when I say punished, I've never been physically abused. I want to be very clear, but um everything right up to the brim. um but yeah, no, yeah, just cheating, lying, brainwashing me to be like, you need to be here, you need to be faithful, and all the things. And meanwhile, he was doing all of the things. Oh my God, I mean all of the things. But all of the things. All the while preparing to be a high level man of God.
Yeah. I
And
told
so
you the moral of the
anyway,
story. Do not date the man. Do not date the man at church.
so all that to say, as I close, that was all of my 20s. Well, all of the beginning part of my 20s. That was that. So he was 16 to 25-ish, 24, because like it was still like a off and on kind of a thing. But yeah, he was essentially kind of all of my 20s, earlier parts of my 20s, and first half. And I had an abortion. He left me at an abortion clinic by myself. Like, yeah, it was lit for context. Oh, I can't give it because that's an active password to this day, I guess. But for context, my password, like when I looked at my old laptop
Active password.
on that specific place, I actually need to change it. So I can't say it. I'll change it and then I'll say it. But for context, like every now and then, because I don't even need to go into all the details, but every now and then, w- when I need to get a scope of like how bad it got, my password for one of my computers for my college computer was something about like freedom and liberation. Let's just say that. Why is that? Because I was like, Lord, please, if you can get me out of this, if you get, I remember like pulling over on the side of the road, just being like, girl, what is wrong with you? Like, get out of this, because I was so emotionally manipulated to think that this was the man that I was supposed to be with. I want to really stress that. So I was putting up with all kind of stuff. And not only that, I was passing up guys who, for all intents and purposes, actually could have been great husbands. I mean, for me at that time, because now, but actually could have been great. And I could have had the little simple dimple little life and just
Right.
did the happily ever after with the simple way of thinking. I don't know how much I would have been able to grow and expand in the
Right.
ways that I needed to, but I could have, it didn't have to be that dark. But he had me really convinced. And not only that, every single time that I tried to get away, he would pull out that the Lord, and I've been praying, and I've been
And don't let her be a pastor figure. Also, like, yeah, that's your husband. That's
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. So all of that to say, but since you came to your little, I am happy. Every relational position that I'm in right now is solely my choice.
Yeah.
Solely. Even as much as I be keen about wanting a baby, when I'm ready, I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull the trigger. Sorry if that's a trigger. I don't mean to be. But
Mhm.
everything that I'm doing right now is. I used to hear Black women say this all the time, like, "Oh, I'm saying about choicing my choice," and I used to think, okay, yeah, but it's not that people didn't want relationships or that that they don't desire companionship and all of that, but it is to say that there is a beauty and a joy and a peace that comes with autonomy in positioning, relationship positioning, or any positioning for that matter. There really is, and so. I mean, one, I do love somebody right now, so it actually don't even care. But I'm trying to figure out how I want to present this. My point is that
No, I think
there,
the piece of, like,
yeah,
just every relationship I'm in or whatever is, like, my choice, the
there you
autonomy.
go.
Like,
That's it.
when you
That's
don't have
actually it. That's
yeah,
it.
when you
I'm
don't
done.
have the ability to feel like you can think freely for yourself,
Mm,
that's a big deal to say,
mm,
like, I have autonomy to choose to be in the relationships that I'm in and or not. Um,
mm-hmm.
that is
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And I can never go back. So thinking about, like I said a moment ago, if I hadn't have gone through that stuff with him and really just dropped it and then gotten with one of the guys who was at that time, like, oh, let's be a wife and husband, let's do the
Mhm.
traditional home thing. If I would have done that, then it would have worked then, because at that time my brain hadn't been impacted the way it has been now. But since that's not the plight, considering where I am right now, autonomy is my best option. And I
Yeah.
say this because I know some people will make the case that, but it's still that if you hadn't have been hurt, then you could have enjoyed XYZ. Maybe, but ultimately it still would have come with a level of ignorance that I wouldn't have known, that I wouldn't have wanted. And so now, could you make the case that it's unfortunate that now you know a little bit more, and so now that makes you a little bit more on guard? Perhaps, maybe I'll
Right.
concede to that a little bit, but ultimately I would much just rather know than to not. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be sitting on the stoop, like,
You should be
not
able to be in a relationship fully aware
fully.
of all the things.
Ooh.
When I say I know every person, not every person, I know the majority, probably every person that he has messed with in Lane. I know every person.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think that even opened up a conversation about a lot of stuff. And there's no my point of saying that
Yeah,
informed
yeah. Huh?
informed decision
Huh?
making,
Huh?
like,
Huh?
informed decision making, like, there should be ability to present yourself, present your partner present themselves, and y'all be able to, choose to be in relationship with each other or not.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
you don't have to do no manipulation, you don't have to and I think that even that comes from a place of insecurity when you have to, manipulate somebody to be in a relationship with you. So, like,
Yep.
I should be able to be my full self, and that's if that is the piece of advice, quote unquote, that I give, is
Mhm.
that you should be able to show up fully in whatever relationship you are in, especially in, like, quote unquote. And I never mind, I'm gonna say romantic ones. You should be able to show up fully, and
All of
also
them.
that
Yeah.
I don't think of relationships, romantic relationships, being the
Yes.
ones in the
Yes.
one, and I don't
Mhm.
ain't no hierarchy. Like,
Mhm.
my friendships matter to me just as much. My
Yep.
like that. Yeah.
No, that's a good one. Yeah, that's good. And not only just that, but we don't have to look at them differently. Relationship is a
Yeah.
relationship is a relationship is a relationship.
Yeah.
How you show up in them obviously will vary, just like everything varies. How I show up
Mhm.
at work is different from how I show up with Morgan. So everything varies, but as far as importance and hierarchical in terms of who matters more, they
Right.
matter differently. Because
Right.
and the reason why, because I can hear people's pushback to that, but the reason why that's important is because when you prioritize integrity, then it'll look the same across the board how I
Right.
treat people. Now,
Mhm.
the ways that I engage with people differs, but integrity in terms of how I treat people and how I engage with people and how I prioritize people's concerns just the same as how I expect mine to be prioritized, that is across the board. I think we've created too much hierarchies, and that's how you get situations where
Mhm.
women competing for men and putting men over ourselves even, and you
Yeah.
get these positions. You know what? Yeah. So if I had to, from all of our stories, if I had to give my piece of advice, whatever that means, it would truly be centered around, girl, figure out what makes you feel good. And I say this to my clients. I say this to every woman I talk to about anything really, but especially relationships. What makes you feel good and comfortable? And like, this is something that I am willingly going into. Cause I think about it through this lens. Anytime somebody says like, I just feel like, do you think that, is it too early to have sex with him? Is it too, is for the full gamut? Is it too early to have sex? Or is this is this appropriate? Should he say these sorts of things to me? Whatever it is, how
Mhm.
does it make you feel?
Right.
Does it
Right.
produce a bad feeling does it make you feel regretful instantly? And now, not that feelings are paramount and should be the dictators of our choices, but it is to say feelings are smoke signals. And when you
Yeah.
see a smoke signal, what does the smoke signal mean? Hey, it's something down there. Let's go check that out. Let's
Mhm.
go investigate what's there. What happens too often is, because we hear so much relationship noise from everybody,
Everything is a everything is a red flag. And there might even be a red flag for you.
or worse, everything is a, yeah, but you shouldn't, because no, I don't give
Right.
a hell what the people say. That don't make me feel good. So a
Right.
good one,
Right.
a perfect, this is a silly one, but like all my friends love like harder guys, like, and guys who like, girl, I was gonna be so stereotypical, so let me not do my example, but just dudes with like deeper voices that like talk harder. And I was told you're supposed to like that, and you're supposed to, no, mm-mm, mm-mm. I want a man that's dang near
The new word is a soft top. But think of
no, but I know what you're saying. I know exactly
yes,
what you mean. But yeah,
the
you should
dude
explain it for the audience.
the dude from Everybody Hates Chris, who's now in Abbott Elementary. How he's like soft but dominant, soft but caring. A good example of like healthy masculinity.
1000%. Or 1000. He's actually a great example.
Yeah.
But and another thing that I've been hearing is the golden retriever boys.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know but yeah, the golden retriever. I don't want,
I don't want no
because that
pit bull.
triggers me. A man
Yeah.
with too deep a voice makes me scared. Dead
Yeah.
serious. You can judge me, you can be mad at it all day long, but that's for me because I do what makes me feel good. And I am always, always, always attentive to how I'm feeling. So sorry. Let me just see.
And we are back.
So I just been listening, trying to act like you know me. You do not recall. Do not
I do
recall.
not recall.
Do not recall.
That was
We
6
had
hours ago.
no,
So much
no.
has happened.
When I logged back in to get into the studio, and I saw the thing, it literally said 6 hours ago. I said, "Wow!" I've literally
Didn't even
seen
feel like
5
6 hours.
clients. I've seen 5 people. um. Okay, I don't even know where we. Oh, I recall a little bit.
Okay. The dog keeps farting.
So, okay, let's talk about it. Somebody come get this dog from my good sis. Somebody,
Please,
please, please.
meet you halfway.
This girl said, "I'll give you the cage, the caddy, the."
I listed
Oh,
everything I had.
I will give
Girl,
you the house that she comes in.
whatever you need.
Paula stink. She
Okay.
laughing. I know that's
Where
right.
do you recall from the last
What I recall is essentially saying that if I had to center my relationship words or thoughts to somebody and advice,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
struggle with that word, but it would be do what makes you feel good. And I do
Mm,
want to give a quick little nuance to that so that it doesn't just sound like we're contradicting all of our community means self-sacrifice kind of a thing or inconvenience. The reason why this doesn't deviate from that or contradict that is because when I say do what makes you feel good, I'm not saying that you are the center of the world and nothing else matters except for you. What I'm saying is the sooner you understand what it is that you need and what it is that you desire and what makes you feel at your base level self. So whatever your base level is, whether that be, oh, I like feeling, I like I mean, whatever in real
mhm.
romantic relationships, since we're talking about that. So whether that's whatever that is sexually, whatever that is mentally, whatever that is physically, all of the things, wherever your base level is, and what makes you feel like, okay, now I can function, now I can be a healthy wife or a girlfriend or whatever, now I can be a healthy
Mhm.
partner in this context. What is it that you need to make you feel like this is how I can be the most healthy partner, the most healthy whatever role? Once you establish that, then you date from that place. And that may
Right.
feel self-evident, but I'm telling you, especially for women, that we are always constantly in the state of, especially when you're talking about dating or even people's advice to us when dating, 10 ways to make a man want you. 7 ways to
Right.
do da 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 da. Three ways that your mama used to do that, and so you should also do. Or what do I like? What makes me feel good? But yeah, so that will be the first piece. I have some other things to say, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
No, I think that that's actually perfect, especially to tell Black women because
Mhm,
um, we're always, shrinking ourselves and I like,
mhm,
women in general do that, but like you say all the time, if white people got a cold, then Black people got the flu, and Black women,
mhm.
are constantly in a space of, like, shifting and shrinking and all the things, so I feel like, I think that's even where when we was talking offline that my piece of advice was coming from, like, and start living who you are and then but not in the sense of I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm going to work out and I'm going to go find a hobby so that I can find a man, but it's like fulfill who you are and it sounds so bad. Anyway, because what I was gonna say was fulfill who you are and then like the things will happen, but also like I think that goes along with decentering men. Like the end all of who we are and the greatness of who we are is not attached to what man or what partner we're attached to. Like we when we start decentering men and decentering or like um decentering romantic relationships, we start to find value in the relationships of the people around us that are beyond romantic. Um yes, little baby. You need a hug? Happy. I like that. I like the do what makes you happy. So
And but also, I know why you pushed back initially when you said that, but you don't necessarily have to because meaning the part about, well, I don't want to get advicey or like, oh, you need to do this in order to. So I know why you
right.
pushed back, but I think it can still apply, which is that like I think it's safe to say actualize whatever version of your best self
Yeah.
you'd like to. Because that don't have to be tethered to a man. It's just for so the reason why you push back or you felt uncomfortable with it is because for so long for women it
Mhm.
always have to be connected to actualize your best self because then he gonna come down the pike and you ain't even gonna expect it.
Right. Right.
No, I'm
No.
actualizing my best self because I want who why would I live from 0 to whatever amount of years that we're promised here specific to you? Why would I live that long span of time and not continue to evolve into glory, into glory, and into glory, right? And my better self.
Right.
And so I think that's just a human trait. We're constantly thriving and striving for something bigger and higher. And they don't have to be connected to a partner. Can a partner be along that journey? For sure. And preferably so, because I think most people want to be partnered romantically. I don't think we have that faction of ourselves for no reason. That's a beautiful thing, but
Mm.
it don't have to be solely about that. It's just that's a component in this evolutionary journey that we go on in existence. And so, yeah, and this sounds cliche, but that is really the only advice to be given. Find out what your better and best self is. Now, once it gets into the specific or the weeds of like, do you have too much
Mm,
attitude or are you too whatever, fill in the blanks. That's all specific to you and it should have nothing to do with the partner anyway and just everything to do with how do you want to improve yourself? Do you want to get a better perspective on life and not be negative or not have an attitude or not whatever it is? If it has something to do with weight, how you look, how you dress, how you smell, whatever it is. What do you want for yourself and what makes you feel good? And then emanate
yeah.
or move from that space. That's it.
Mhm. I think that was what I was saying. What slipped my mind was that part of like
Mhm.
once you find out who you are, you do move from that place, and I think that's a good, barometer on, like, am I changing for this person? Which,
Mhm.
granted, we all change in our relationships, but it's like,
Yeah.
am I losing the sense of who I am to be in partnership or whatever? Um, and then I think also with that, it's like, I don't think that you can fully know if somebody truly loves you if you're not fully living in who you are, and granted, again, we
Woo.
change, we shift the things. And that's where, like, status updates come from in relationships, like, "I'm not that person no more." Cool.
Yep.
But at the
Mhm.
beginning or just at all times, like, to be constantly in a space of, like, I'm being true to who I am. And
Mhm.
if you're trying to put on a front of who you somebody you're completely not, like, you're never going to be in a space where you feel, I think, completely loved because, like, the person doesn't know you,
Yeah.
literally doesn't know you.
Literally don't know you. Yeah. That's so true.
Yeah.
Mm. It's funny because I put a story up that was talking about this whole how do you feel? And that was going to be the last one, but then I ran out of time because I was going to say, I know on its face, this conversation can sometimes kind of sound selfish when I say, like, does it make you feel good or not? But think about it like this the most selfish thing you can do is show up inauthentically, right? Show up as
Yeah.
like somebody that you're not, and then start making choices, decisions, or even judgments of that person based off of this fake version of yourself. So now they're having to contend with something that like
Mhm.
that's selfish because you're lying. It's not the
Yeah.
traditional way that we understand lying, but it is still
Yeah.
lying.
Yeah.
Um, but also as it relates to relationships, because I know that we've had people reach out and talk about like, oh, to talk about relationships and what are the red flags and how do you watch out for boys? You know how you watch out for a bad man or a bad situation? If something happens in that relationship or in that situationship, whatever you're in right now, and you start to feel like, I feel weird about it. It's making me feel bad. Pay attention.
Yeah.
Done. We can end the podcast. Pay the amount of women, and we are talking to women. I gotta stop. We're talking to women right now. The amount of the girls. Now I'm talking to the girls that I know. I meet them at level 10 of the abuse or the frustration or the cheating or the whatever. When at level 1, sis, at level 1, you felt the way. You felt the way, but
Yeah.
you let people, you let things, you let perspective, you let past, whatever get in the way of your decision making. If you feel
Mhm.
off, pay attention to the smoke signal. Is like I said earlier, the smoke signal is only to tell you to, hey, go pay attention down there. And then once you see, let's just say it
Yeah.
is I don't know, like he don't call me back. I just feel like I call him more than he calls me. Do you want to be in a relationship where somebody calls you or you call them more than they call
Yeah.
you and they don't really pay attention to you? You let's just say you say no. Well, then you should probably get out. Yeah, but that's not always the rule
Right.
because it don't matter what the rule is. What is sustainable for you? That's what I mean by autonomy. And like, and so when I talk about the cheating thing or when I talk about, and I know I keep mentioning this, but for context audience, my politic on relationship for me is that all that cheating stuff don't really matter. Not that I'm expecting somebody to cheat. We put the clip out today, so it's fine, but rather that I don't obsess over specific things because I look at relationships as transactional black and white things. They don't got to be for you. That's for me. And that saves me a lot of heartbreak and needless naivete. But anyway, so saying that to say, it don't matter what the others think or what they feel or if it ain't good for you, Pooh, walk out leave. Okay, what? Get out
Yeah.
right now.
I think
I'm
that's the
done.
problem. Right now. I think the problem is that people want the rules, and it's like, no, like, I don't and we don't listen to ourselves enough to be able to say, that doesn't sit well with me." Even with, like, the work that I do with relationship violence and or, like, even, like, relationship, understanding of, like, what is a good relationship or whatever, and it's like, what is a red flag for you? Like, what is a green flag for you? Like, what is it that you want to like, thinking about, like, what do you wanna experience sexually? What you might wanna experience might not be what somebody else experienced, and you are your guiding light. And I think
Period.
so many people want that, and I think for good reason, they want the playbook so that they don't get
I
hurt,
get it.
but it's like,
I get
you're
it.
gonna get hurt. Like,
I get it.
it's inevitable. A
Yeah.
connection with people, like, has to include vulnerability. And who wants to be
Yes.
vulnerable? Who wants to be hurt?
Yes.
Like, who wants that? But that's the only way real connection is built. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And
But
just
also,
really
like,
quick, because
in
I hear
this,
the
it's like
mhm, mhm. Go ahead, go ahead, go
go
ahead, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, no.
Mm-mm.
I'm just thinking I think where I wanna take it is, like, the reality is that there are a lot of single Black women,
They're
and what
out.
do we
Yeah,
say to
yeah.
them?
Yes. We are a family. I was right there. Two things though, because that was where I was going. I can hear the detractors and saying, okay, yeah, but what if I don't trust myself? Because what if I've made poor decisions in the past? Or what if
Mm,
yeah, what if it's hard to trust my voice because I've picked wrong partners in the past? Totally fair. Couple things to that though. This is why Morgan is always preaching and screaming to the rooftops about the community aspect, right? Because all of us have in one way or another dealt with these. Okay, what?
mhm.
Talk to your sisters, talk to your
Yeah.
folk, talk to your people, whatever that looks like. And if you don't have that, then stop being a little solo dolo colo and go get some good ones, right? So that's one. And I know that gets wonky too,
And
but whatever. Mhm.
even with that, with, like, thinking about relationship harm, that's the first step of, like, someone abusing you is getting you away from your people. Like,
Isolation. Yep.
stay in
Mhm.
community with folks.
Stay in community and trust your community, right? Everybody's not out to get you. And to the extent that you
Yeah.
feel like people are, come call me. I got you. But anyway, so that's the first. And then the second one, I think, like how you begin to trust your voice. This is where I will bring in the spiritual aspect because I know the Christians that watch us. Hey y'all. I don't want to
Hey,
be I want to
girl.
be clear. We're not the arbiters of our own destiny or lives in the sense of we didn't make ourselves. I do think God gave us the Holy Spirit in Acts 2. So he did give us wisdom. He left us with wisdom. Nevertheless, yeah, get connected with your divine, right? And have a prayer life, have a
Mhm.
meditative life. Have a life full of meditation, and one that don't just you just kind of like wake up and just like dilly dally, but rather you have a connect. And when I
Yeah.
say wake up, not just this daily thing, but I just mean, are you connected to something higher than yourself and something where, again, I am a proponent of Jesus. I always want to be clear this so it don't look
Mhm.
like I'm just trying to be self-denying or denying rather. But yeah, talk to your divine because you are temporal. And sometimes you do need that spiritual pause for reflection and existential purpose aligning or purpose focusing or purpose casting. That's what I'm looking for. So anyway, yeah. And that sounds more cliche and more heady than what I mean for it to, but community and
Mhm.
faith are the central tenets to making good choices or better choices. And then mostly going back to that wisdom thing that God did leave us with, your instincts aren't wrong. Even that, remember that conversation? Let me tell you, let
Mhm.
me see if you remember this. Remember that conversation we were having, not we, but the internet had been having a while ago about the ick factor? As a
Mhm.
therapist, I don't know, let me make sure you remember the ick when the girls was like, he chew his food in a weird way, blah, 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 that kind of a thing. And that's why I had to cut him off. So
I think
anyway,
so.
yeah, it was a big
I get
conversation
the
for a long
concept, though.
time. Yeah, yeah, right. But and also I be forgetting I'm in like therapist circles. So it was a big conversation on the internet for a long time. But anyway, I bring it up because so often people like shun that conversation about like, oh, women are just too picky and y'all just do too much and that's why y'all gonna be single. Women have an instinctual element to us that is indescribable oftentimes. But when you feel something and you know something, it's okay to just trust your gut, even if sometimes you may not have gotten them all
Yeah.
right, because you're not perfect. You're not divine. You're not going to get them all right. But even if it don't make sense to nobody else, going back to what I just said, it's okay. If it's a chewing thing that maybe registers wrong with you, oftentimes that can mean that he's maybe a sloppy person that you just, and you can't really articulate that in that moment, but it's because your instincts, we biologically, evolutionarily know what's good for us. Again, in tandem with
Yeah.
community and all of the the faith aspects and all that. So stop letting the world think that you're not, making you feel like that's, women always are made to feel like if something's not enough. Buy another magazine, go to another conference, go to another. I'm done with it. No, trust yourself and build yourself up. And to the extent that you don't feel confident enough in yourself, what books you reading, babe? What things you do? Like you sharpen yourself. You sharpen yourself independently. In community and all that. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I just went off, but yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, even with the like, I don't know if I can trust my gut or I don't know if I can trust Holy Spirit. I think it's like just practice. Like like I'm in the space right now of like trying not to ask for advice because I feel like I'm super codependent on people. But like if you start practicing trusting your own gut, or at least like trusting your own devotion time, it's like I feel like the something is telling me to do. Listen to the something. Don't figure out what the something is later. Just listen to the something, and that's just practicing like getting in tune with your instinct, um your Holy Spirit, your God, whatever. So I think it is just a matter of practicing, and then it's like and being okay with not even knowing, like, I wonder why I felt that way, and just being like, I'm gonna cut this off, and being okay with not knowing the
Yeah.
rest. Like, just like, okay,
Oh,
bye.
yes. That's what I was just trying to get at. Excuse
Don't
me,
try
with
to
the
figure
ick
it out.
thing. No, no, you're so right. That's what I was just trying to get at. Like sometimes it don't got to be had I listened to the fact that every time my ex, the first one that I mentioned, every time he would talk so like it he would just talk meanly. He could never call me on my name. He never said anything like so on paper quantifiably evident of abuse, right? And so in my brain, I was thinking, well, it's not abuse. He just a little aggressive. He just a little, man, oh, it almost make, oh, now I can just so easily say, I like real soft men. I like men that be dang near whispering. I didn't, but
Mhm.
at the time I didn't. So I was thinking, well, because I'm not getting he not hitting me. He not calling me out my name. So that's technically not abuse. How am I feeling?
Right.
Do it make me feel good when he consistently yells and has this tone with me? No. Have you said something to him? Yes. Has he changed it? No. Then why are you here? It don't matter if he cheat. It don't matter if you don't like that specific thing and you're in touch with how it makes you feel. And if it's a negative feeling, then leave. Get that bread, get that no. It's gotta lighten the mood. Leave, babe. You don't need no advice. You don't need no leave. Leave.
Yeah.
Leave.
Hey, now I get why now I get what you saying with the scarcity part, because it's like, but then what if there ain't nobody else?
Oh yeah, you did
And
mention that. Sorry, thank you.
no, you mentioned the scarcity part, and I'm like, I don't ever think about that, but just in that moment when you said leave, but it's like, but then I'm not gonna have nobody.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Here I go.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's why we have to decenter, decenter.
And right. And for that one, I'm not kidding. I don't have nothing. And so we'll understand it
And
better
this one,
by and by. By and by.
this one I don't like talking about this because I'm speaking from a place of privilege. Privilege.
Yeah. 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 But not out of you're right. So I understand the trepidation. I agree. I agree. I'm not challenging what you're saying. I'm saying, yeah. And also, like, and in this, there are plenty enough people and women who are in the spaces where they have the relationships or navigating dating, like that. This is still a worthy thing to be talked about and said. You're right. Cause is everybody going to have somebody? Probably not. Probably not. That breaks my heart. But at a very minimum, since I can't control that because we can't, that's a God thing. That's Jesus. Let him do his thing. For me, I can't control that, but what I can help in is making sure that everybody know, women specifically, baby, if it don't feel good, get out. cut all of the, you don't
Yeah.
need a reason. We have enough history of women staying because despite what I pushed past what I'm good for you, booger. Good for you. Good. Well, actually, hold on. Before I say that though, to be very clear, it's one thing to say, oh, I feel it. Well, then I'm leaving. And you haven't talked about it and tried to work, and had conversations about it with a willing participatory partner. Because that's the distinct. I'm not saying things can't be worked through. I'm not saying that relationships can be rectified. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is what we so often see. Ooh, this will make me. It's not that we don't fight through things and work through things. It's that we're fighting independently oftentimes. It's that you're fighting in an empty ring because your
Right.
nigga outside with another woman. That's what it's that
Right.
we're fighting in a ring where a man and we're punching the air and he looking at you in the chair laughing. That's what it is. And what I'm
Right.
saying is you don't gotta
Yeah.
wait for the sign. You don't gotta wait for the what you girl, you air boxing. Get out of there. You box you boxing. You punching the earth, sis. Ooh, as you can see.
Mm.
This is I just feel as though all he had to
Yeah.
do is, it's crazy because when we have good times, we have good times. Here go with that mocking stuff. Girl, stop. Stop mocking people. But that's how it be. Oh, when it's good, it's good, it's good. But the thing is, when it's bad, it's just so bad. Like, okay, cool. Well, how do you decide if the good is outweighs the bad or the bad outweighs the good?
Right.
What are your hard no's and what are your yeses? If your hard no's are all the things that he consistently keeps crossing, boundaries that he keeps crossing, you don't put the magazine down, sis. Put the woman that are loose tapes down. You got the answer. You got the answer.
Time to go. It's time
It's
to go.
because, and I
Oh,
said it because you know how men be like, everything our relationships has they up and down, and that's true. Our relationships gonna have their up and downs. They're gonna have their rocky situations. All of that, fine. But are they rocky in the spaces where you said this is an absolute no for me? If it's
right.
rocky there, then you gotta go. If it's not, okay, do y'all thing. But if it, I hope that's making sense. I feel like I'm rambling now. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
No, I think it just goes to the knowing what you are okay with and what you're not okay with, and stop looking for the
yep.
playbook, and like stop being like, if it's like, if it's not, if it don't feel good and if it's not for you, just leave it alone. And I think the what do we do about, like, oh my god, like, what if the person don't what if I don't have nobody? That, I think that's the importance of decentering romantic relationships as the biggest,
Yep.
highest, best
Yep.
relationship anybody can achieve, because I think even that adds to the um stigma or shame around not being in a relationship. Um so yeah.
That's true. Our Christian followers, that's true. That also requires, I'm not saying anything definitive. I'm just saying, because I'm a conversationalist as a therapist, we are conversationalists. This is what we do in podcasts. That's also what you just said, how you just ended what you just said, will also require us to revisit our sex before marriage conversations. Okay, that's it. Dun, dun, dun. We need that
Ah,
soundboard. Dun, dun, dun.
because are you gonna stay chased until when? Until when? Until when? Until when? Until when? Because, okay, random, but I had a thought at Woman Evolve. I leaned over to Ace. I said, "There's a lot of stud looking girls in here." Like, I was like, for them, for church to not be like, I know, no, I mean, not say that. Church is church is quote unquote historically homophobic, but I'm like, it's a lot of, now. Clearly, there are some people that are like, you can tell that they are studs, but the people that I'm talking about were like, I'm like, the culture seems very like gay, like, and she's like, it's just like, that's just the style. But then I thought about how the preacher that shall not remain nameless, that's married to a man that everybody's like, "Hey, girl, you sure?" I think about her theology. And I'm like, she's not the only one. Anyway, sex before marriage. Yeah, we're gonna have to revisit that. Unless you just want to be in. That's another conversation for another day.
Yeah,
We do have to
we're
revisit
gonna
that
have to.
conversation though. But
We're gonna and you know what? And we're gonna leave it. If you got this far, we gotta start saying more things to invite people. If you got this far in the video, you tell
because
us
we
if
are
we should
removed.
revisit that. Because we got some thoughts. So you tell us.
Thoughts.
But we got some thoughts.
Because I mean, just
Hmm.
before I'm a Christian, I'm a black woman. I'm a woman with needs. And the thing is, girl, now why would you do that? You just smacked yourself in the face. Oh, I know.
She's like, ah!
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Excuse you.
It's a complicated. But let me give some credence to it and then I'm done. Like, totally. That's it. I have nothing else. My therapist did say, oh, yeah, we're going to have a conversation about it, Morgan, for real. But my therapist said, she said, you're not wrong to question the amount of men versus the amount of viable women, whatever, whatever. And then she said, but also, we also serve a God who turned, who fed the 5,000 with five fish and, two fish and 5 loaves of bread, sorry. And so she basically making the case that, like, God works in the impossible and in the impossibilities. And there was essentially saying, so like, yeah, maybe that is true for the stats and the people and the numbers, but about you specifically, God can, whatever, whatever. And so because I never want to poo that argument so much that I don't give credence to the notion of, like, we do serve a big God, and that is the element of faith, and we don't want to forsake the element of faith that is part of this and all of that. So, but anyway, again, I'm not praying for no husband or no man though. So, but I know a lot of people are. So I get that's why, you know what I mean? Like, if you are praying in that sort of an arena, it's not to say that God doesn't move miraculously or isn't capable of the miraculous. So
Yeah.
all that to say, yeah, if you got this far, let us know because I can even flesh that out. And I'm sure Morgan has a bajillion thoughts about
I'll be a
purity culture,
jillion.
if you can't imagine. And so, yeah, but okay, let's get to a book suggestie. Are we there yet? You got anything
Ooh,
else?
um, I don't know if I have a book suggestion. Cause I don't maybe a journal prompt. Like, I don't want nobody to be looking for any more advice. Like,
That's true. That's
um,
true.
I think the
That's
homework
true.
is just like figuring out what you like and don't like and practicing listening to yourself and
Yeah,
um
I agree.
yeah, I don't know if I have a book though. What's the matter?
Um,
Hi.
de- depending on who's in even though it could apply to them too, but depending on who's in our audience, especially if you're your 20s, again, you can read it at any age, but especially if you're 20s, read my first book. I'm not kidding. That book is
There.
excellent for identity building outside of anybody else, but except for yourself. Lessons from my 20s. Read that book. You know
Mhm.
something, because I was reading a lot of it the other day, and I'm like, oh, I gotta do a second edition because I just don't like the way it's written. It's written beautifully, and the advice and stuff is all great, but I just mean like the grammar stuff. Anyway, I gave that caveat
Mhm.
just in case somebody actually does, and I'm like, trust me, I know it was my first baby. But anyway, but yeah, it's identity building outside of the context of anything except for what you want to see produced from yourself. And so
Mhm.
I really suggest Lessons from My 20s. I really, really do. Like I said, for anybody, but especially if we got some young women in this audience who, yeah, just want to cultivate themselves better. Um, yeah, but I like what you said too about the journal entry, like self-exploration. Oh yeah, the book will be really good. Seriously,
Yeah.
self-explore. Oh, self-explore. You want to you want a man or a partner or
Yeah.
whatever? Forget it and go self-explore. Literally. That's what
Get
I got.
them. Um why does this matter?
What we got? Oh, yes. Mm, do we have a what the
Heart
girl
on
said?
heart
No?
section.
Sorry.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
no, but we
Yeah.
just got some interact. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We
Can you hear
did.
me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, I did. I got you. Just
You
make
can't.
sure. Mhm. Okay.
Not exactly what the girl's saying, but definitely interactions. One person did, who follows us, she did inbox me. Oh, I hope her pronouns are she, but she inboxed me and was like, this. She was like, "We gotta talk. Please talk about the relationship stuff.
Mhm.
I don't know if we did you justice. I'm sorry. Um, but we gave a lot of caveats to it. Um,
Okay.
so we got 2 people interacting with us on a regular basis, so
I love that.
that's what the
I
girls are
love that.
saying, and if y'all wanna say something to us, feel free to DM
Feel
us
free.
at What's on the Agenda Pod, as well as email us at What's on the Agenda Pod at gmail.com.
Love that for
That's
us.
probably why
Okay.
people ain't saying nothing to us, 'cause we forget to tell people how to get in touch with us.
That's very true, actually. That's very also, all of our social media handles are in the bio every
IG and
week.
our
However, I mean, it's all of our names. I mean, it's our Watch on Gina Pot everywhere. So, um, okay. Well, then, yeah, you said the heart of the matter. What is on the heart? Why does this matter, rather?
yeah.
This matters because you're right. Black women have been robbed of healthy relationships and healthy love. And our girl, and we haven't referenced bell hooks in a while, but how she classically puts
Mm,
it is that most Black women exist under the understanding that she talked about this in All About Love. Most Black women exist under the guise and understanding that the love that they need intrinsically will never be provided to them. And so we just live according to that truth and we just kind of move around that truth essentially. And that breaks my heart. So it matters because if that is going to be the pervasive truth for Black women's lived experiences, then the best we could do is learn how to do it well and exist in that space well.
mm,
And to the extent that those of us who do get partners are partnered and become partnered, which I pray that for everybody that wants that, you know how to also do that well and exist and coexist with a partner. What she do? I
the
can edit this
dog's
part. What she
farted,
do now?
and I'm, like, trying so hard, and she looked at me like, "Girl, I know
She
it's stank."
tired. Right. No, let her smell it though, so she can know. So when it gets up out of here, so when it has to go, she ain't gonna feel
Fresh
away.
air
But
again.
anyway, exactly. But yeah, so yeah, it matters because Black women have been put into this horrible, crooked room with regard to everything, but
Mhm,
especially relationships. And we have to learn how to navigate it in the best way we can, but also in a way that don't kill us and they don't give us
yeah.
hypertension and diabetes and high blood pressure and all the things and heart disease and all the things that we perish from too soon and too frequently trying to because for too long we were told that the problem is us. It's not. It's the room, baby. So anyway, yes, that's why it matters to me.
Yeah. Um,
Why does it matter to you?
yeah,
Hmm.
and I'm glad you said that. It matters to me because what you were saying about, like, bell hooks and, like, the fact that Black women may never, experience the love they deserve or the love they need, because when we decenter romantic relationships or we knock it off its pedestal, like, when you get into a relationship, you might find yourself disappointed, like, and it's like, "Oh, this is not what I was expecting." That might be the love of your life and still be like, I don't know. Eh, okay." Like, but that's why I say, like, decenter it because you are going to need community all day long. You're gonna need, relationships with people all day long. So find the love, like, and if you're a Black woman, it's probably gonna be with other Black women. Like, find that love with your people and be okay with the fact that I can feel fulfilled and with multiple people around me and not just my romantic partner. Who I'm finna, ugh. This is not my politic, but sometimes we have to realize that some people do get married for the benefits of, like, housing, like insurance, like, there are benefits to legally getting in married to somebody. Um, and it might also be why it's pedestalized. But when you think about the romantic part, like, that romantic stuff and even in relationships, the romance can fade. The romance can ebb and flow. So if you're not solid in who you are and what you want and your purpose and your guiding and all the things, and you're looking for it in somebody else, you're going to be disappointed. It matters because I want us to really decenter and stop pedestalizing romantic relationships with anybody. Because there are so many ways you can be fulfilled in this earth um than romance. And that is not to say we don't deserve pleasure, because I definitely think we deserve pleasure. And that's why we say it. There's another conversation with purity culture to be had. The end, that's all I got.
Be involved in romance with the full scope of understanding of the variables around you. That's why yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I just heard. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, because I can go on and on. But wonderful partner. This is amazing. Guys, we love you so much. Like, comment, and subscribe. And again, if you made it all the way to this part, I want you to actually note it in the comments. I'd love to hear. Even if you just say,
Yeah.
made it. Type made it. Yeah. And on that note, love y'all. See y'all later. Bye.